Hello art superstars. Today we are going to create a collage of our home like this. Now there's going to be a few options we can go with, a few choices. So I'm just going to show you now to give you some ideas. Or you might want to do a house, or if you live in a flat, like I live in a flat, I live in a block of flats, you can do a block of flats like this. And what you are going to need is a piece of paper or cardboard. I'm going to use cardboard because it's nice and thick. So about an A4 sheet. It can be white, or you can have it in a coloured sheet if you want, whatever you like. Like I said, I've gone with card just because it's a bit thicker and we're going to be gluing onto it, but that's up to you what you'd like to use. And a smaller piece of paper, like an A5 sheet in a different colour. And some paints. I'm going to use some acrylic paints today. So acrylic paints or poster paints work well. Just bear in mind that acrylic paints are a bit harder to get out of clothes or furnishings if we spill any. So poster paints might be a little bit safer like that, but it's up to you. If you've got some paintbrushes, we can use those. A jar of water, a container of water, some masking tape, some PVA glue, and some bits of paper. So if you've all recycled paper, wrappers, if you've got anything around the house you can use. These are bits of wallpaper, these work really nicely. Or if you don't have anything like that, just some coloured paper from your art pack will work really nicely as well. It's just good to incorporate in some different marks and textures and to recycle where possible, but we'll just work with whatever we've got. So I'm just going to move my camera down so you can see. There we go. So like I said, I'm going to work on some cardboard today. I think I'd like a green background. So I'm just going to stick some green paper onto the cardboard. If you don't have a sheet of cardboard, you can just work straight onto the paper. That's fine. So I'm going to get my PVA glue. And I've got a little container here for it. So I'm just going to squeeze some out. Just a nice blob of it like that. And I'm going to get a brush. It's good to use quite an old paintbrush when you're using PVA glue because it can change the bristles a little bit. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on the edges, just a small amount. Like this, just a dollop on the corners and in the middle. And I'm going to stick it to my cardboard. Go. So it's nice and my background's nice and hard and firm. There we go. And I'm going to get my little piece of paper or cardboard, and I think I'm going to do a house today. But like I say, if you don't live in a house, you might want to do a flat, so you just won't put the roof on top. Just leave it like this, and you can use any colour that you like. I'm going with green background and red because these are two of my favourite colours. There we go, just a little bit of glue all around, and I'm going to stick it up this way. So I'm going to hold it down at the bottom, and then I'm going to press all the way out to the edges. There we go. So there's the shape of our house, and here's the background. For my roof, I'm going to use some masking tape, and I'm going to do a triangle shape on top. Like I say, if you live in a block of flats or you want to do some flats, you might not want to put a roof on, that's fine. So you can leave it how it is, or if you want to use masking tape, you can just rip it with our hands really easily. And I'm just going to put some pieces, one going up and one joining like this, and we can really easily just rip it with our hands. Got a bit of excess on the top, I'm just going to fold down. There we go, so we've got the shape of the house. And what you can do next is, we want to add a bit of texture and colour to the house in different shapes. So you can use some scissors if you want and cut out some squares. Just very slowly cut out some squares or rectangles or circles and glue them down. Or you can rip with your hands like this and stick them on. So I've ripped a few up earlier I'm going to use, and I'm just going to pop a bit of glue on the back. And just going to stick these down so they look a little bit like bricks. And this is called collage. There you go, gluing all of the back. And I'm going to do a row. I'm going to do orange bricks and blue bricks and orange. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller as it's quite big. There you go. And you would fill up the whole house with different colours, different textures, and I'm doing orange and blue, but if you wanted you could do lots and lots of different colours, different shapes and sizes. It's your house, it's up to you, however you want to do that. And I cut these out earlier. This is some old wallpaper I had. I'd like to put a bit of pattern into the roof, I think, so I'm just going to stick some of these down. Again, this can be cut shapes or ripped with our hands, or a combination of both. There we go. Some ripped shapes. I'm just going to put lots and lots of glue on the back. And stick that down. And just because of time, I'm just going to leave that there. But you can see I would fill up the whole roof and the full house with different shapes. And when you've done that, we want to put on some windows and a door. So you can cut out some different shapes for this and glue it down, or I'm going to use some masking tape. And you can just put a strip down like that for each of the windows. I think I'm going to do 4 windows, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. There we go. And those are just pieces of masking tape which I've stuck down. You can make them bigger or smaller than mine. You can rip them, or maybe put a couple, or put 2 together or 3 together to make them bigger. There we go. And for a door, again, you can rip with your hands. So I'm going to use some of this coloured paper I've got. There we go. I've got quite a nice jagged edge there. And I can stick that down as a door. Or you could cut a square or a rectangle with your scissors. lightly press down, rub with your fingers. There we go. And last of all, I want to add a bit of painting like we did last week. So I'm going to choose some colours that I like to put onto the house. I think I'm going to use a little bit of blue. And if you were here last week, you'll remember that we did some block printing and we used our finger to make different lines and textures. So I'm going to put my finger in the blue and I'm just going to put some little circles and shapes. They can go over your bricks or just at the side. I'm going to keep my windows as they are so they stand out. I've got a bit of a spotty house here. And if you want to, you can just use your finger, or if you want to use a paintbrush, you can explore making some marks with that too. Just going to do some brush strokes. And there we go. I've done a house. If I had a bit longer now, I might put some more collage on top and do a bit more on the roof. But yeah, I think you can do yours however you want. You can use whatever papers you've got, pens. You can do it all in paint if you prefer, or just keep it clean with just collage and no paint. That's up to you. But I hope you've enjoyed today anyway. And there's a handout sheet below which you can download. And thank you for joining me and have fun.